everyone. You are listening to another episode of the Colleague Down the Hall podcast. I'm your host, Janine Wolfe, and today I'm tackling a topic that's all too familiar to most humans, imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome, it's that nagging voice that says you're not good enough, you don't belong here. Sooner or later, someone's going to figure out that you're a fraud. Most of us experience this in different places in our lives. It's a feeling that can be especially common among therapists in private practice, though, where the stakes often feel incredibly high. In fact, the stakes are incredibly high with some of our clients. But here's the thing. If you've ever felt this way, you're not alone. In fact, imposter syndrome is something many therapists grapple with at some point in their careers. So let's unpack this a bit. What exactly is imposter syndrome and how does it show up in our work? Imposter syndrome is that internal dialogue that sows seeds of doubt, telling you that your successes are flukes or that you're somehow deceiving everyone around you. It can manifest in a variety of ways, like questioning your own skills, feeling like you're just faking it, or attributing your achievements to external factors rather than your own hard work and abilities. I was experiencing this big time when I went through brain spotting training. I went through levels 1 and 2, and I was using them with my clients. And even though I've been in this field for over 30 years, I was feeling major imposter syndrome as I was beginning to implement the techniques and the setups. So for therapists, this can be particularly tricky. We're in a profession that demands not just competence, but also a sense of empathy and connection with our clients. And let's not forget, like I said earlier, the stakes can be pretty high. When imposter syndrome creeps in, it can undermine our confidence and make us second guess the very foundation of our work. So how do we counteract these feelings? First, it's crucial to recognize that imposter syndrome is a common experience, and it doesn't reflect your actual abilities. In other words, just because you feel like a fraud doesn't mean you are one. So I want to say this again to make sure I can normalize this for you, because very often when we come up against things that we experience as therapists in our work, we think we're the only ones. So having the experiences that come up in our work normalized is really important to me. Just because you feel like a fraud doesn't mean you are one. Let's explore strategies that can help you navigate imposter syndrome. One powerful approach is to take stock of your accomplishments. When that inner critic starts to get loud, it's important to ground yourself in the reality of your achievements. This isn't about bragging. It's about reminding yourself of the hard work and dedication that brought you to where you are today. One way to do this is to create a book of evidence. This is a place where you list or journal about your successes, your insights, and strengths. I also encourage you to create an imposter syndrome survival kit. This is something I do frequently with my clients for a variety of issues. The survival kit is a place to list the things I'm discussing today or add your own coping mechanisms or skills. As we all know, it's really hard to call up the things that support us when we're actively struggling. Consider this. Next time you're feeling that wave of self-doubt, take a moment to reflect on a success you've had, big or small. Alternatively, you can review your book of evidence if you've wisely created one. Then go deeper. What did it take to achieve that? What strengths did you draw upon? Doing this can help shift your focus from what you fear you lack to what you know you've accomplished. Get into the habit of updating your book of evidence anytime you have a success or even a great day, and keep your survival kit updated as well and in an easily accessible place to use when you need it. Another key strategy is to connect with your professional community. As you know, this is something I talk about all the time. Isolation can amplify those feelings of doubt, so it's essential to reach out to colleagues or mentors who understand the unique challenges of our field. These connections can offer not just support, but also valuable perspectives. When you hear that others share your experiences, it normalizes your own feelings and can be incredibly reassuring. This is a wonderful benefit of participating in a peer consultation group. Imposter syndrome is a recurrent topic in all of my Collaboasis clinical consultation groups. I love seeing the sigh of relief from those present for having those feelings affirmed and normalized. This can feel very very vulnerable though, so make sure you're in a group that's safe to do this. But what about those days when imposter syndrome feels overwhelming? On those days, self-compassion, as we teach our clients, becomes your best ally. It's easy to be hard on ourselves, especially when we hold ourselves to high standards, which most therapists do. But remember, we're also humans who happen to be therapists. Practicing self-kindness, allowing ourselves to make mistakes, and embracing imperfection can and should be liberating. And as a reminder here, this is one of the many things we teach and encourage our clients to do, so we need to walk the talk here. And just like most of you, I find myself not always doing this, so it's helpful to have colleagues to help me gain perspective at times like this. This is also a great time to pull out your imposter syndrome survival kit. Here's a thought. The next time you catch yourself in a spiral of self-criticism, try asking, would I talk to a friend this way? If the answer is no, then it's time to flip the script and show yourself the same understanding you'd offer a client or someone else. Maybe you have another technique you teach your clients. This should also be in your survival kit. Finally, let's talk about the importance of taking care of yourself. Yes, we hear it all the time, and unfortunately, the term self-care has become a buzzword. But we know that understanding the needs of our body and nervous system and using practices that support and nourish those is a necessity, especially in a profession like ours. Whether it's setting aside time for hobbies, getting enough rest, using mindfulness or somatic practices, or simply taking a moment to breathe, or washing your hands in some warm, soapy water, these small acts of self-care can build resilience against the pressures we face. Remember, you're not alone in this. Imposter syndrome is a shared experience. I've been in this field for over 30 years, and I still find myself experiencing it, but I don't always recognize it at first. But it doesn't have to dictate your professional journey. By acknowledging it, talking about it, and taking steps to manage it, you can reclaim your confidence and continue doing the very important work you do for your clients and your communities, I suspect. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me today. I hope you found some helpful insights to use on those days when imposter syndrome rears its ugly head. For all of you hardworking therapists out there, please remember, our work is hard, but it doesn't have to be lonely.